give a fuck, nigga. If you ain't listening to Fly Low FM, not only is you a bitch, but you a bitch ass nigga. Yeah, nigga. Hey guys. This is Tyler, and you're listening to Fly Low FM.
All right, we might be ready to move on this thing.
here with the Stream Geeks, and I have probably the biggest, best new thing with OBS 24.0 that I want to share with you guys. It's the ability to dynamically manage your bitrate so that you do not drop frames based on fluctuating bandwidth. I know that's a lot of big words, but hey, this is probably going to make your live stream much better. And I got to show this to you, especially if you're new or you're not sure what your bitrate should be. This is a checkbox inside of OBS that you should know how to use. Let me show it to you guys. So here's my OBS Studio. I'm at OBS Studio 24.0. This is a release candidate. We support OBS on Patreon and Open Collective. If you're a big OBS user, I highly suggest that you support them there to help the development of the project. And this new feature is available in OBS 24.0. Not available on the website yet, but I'll give you the secret beta link below. Let me show you the new feature. So inside settings, this is in the advanced settings area. There's a whole bunch of new stuff that we need to be taking a look at. Now, the first thing in here, a lot of new stuff that I'm still even myself getting to learn about here is all about kind of maximizing the priority and the optimization of your computer. So you can see here process priority, we can set to high. That's new or new-ish. I hadn't seen that before. We can also send some additional information with networking, and this is really important. We have the ability to bind to an IP. Now, this is really great because if you know what your computer's IP address is, you definitely want it to bind to the Ethernet connection as opposed to maybe unbeknownst to yourself using Wi-Fi, which doesn't have as good bandwidth access. This is all about to reduce congestion. It dynamically changes the bit rate on the fly. Now, notice this.
So, we're all trying to set up here for the perfect ambush. It looks like I am here just alone in.
I get a lot of messages from people asking how powerful their PC needs to be in order to game and stream on the same system. And news, by the way, you don't need it to be that powerful at all. It can actually be pretty modest, and you can game and stream without dropping a single frame on your stream. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. I'm going to show you 4 things that if you do this, and like literally one of them is like clicking one button, changes the world. I know that sounds too good to be true. Look, I'll show you. I'll show you. I'm running a modest build right now. I'm running a GTX 1660 and a Ryzen 5, and I will game Apex Legends, which is known for making streamers drop frames in OBS. I will game in 1440p and not drop a single frame in OBS. If you're trying to game and stream on the same PC, you need to follow these steps. These are very important. If you're not doing this, you're doing something wrong. So let's get started. Not even gonna roll the intro, not gonna put an ad on this video because the last video I did was 26 minutes long. And I don't apologize for it because it was a good video, but to make your life a little bit easier, I'm gonna make this one 5 minutes long. So I'm hoping at least, let's try. I'm already talking too long, let's jump into it. Step 1, you need to know the difference between x264 and NVENC. Let me just give you some real quick basics on how those work and how those load your PC. Okay, ready? Let's go. It's basically asking the question of which processing unit do you want to encode your stream, your CPU with x264 or your GPU with NVENC. It's important that you understand how they both work so you know how to choose one, and the bottom line is, and I'm going to show you this, if you are streaming on a single PC setup, you should be using NVENC. So if you want to be gaming and streaming on the same PC, you should be getting an NVIDIA graphics card, specifically one with the Turing encoders. I'll get into that in a little bit. So just so you understand how this works, your PC has 2 different processors in it. The central processor, the CPU, the graphics processor, or the GPU. You guys are probably familiar with that. Gaming is going to put a load on both. Heavier load on the GPU, but basically uses both processors. Then when you launch OBS, it also adds an extra load to both of them in order to render stuff, in order to process alerts, overlays, transitions, all the things that are going on, your camera, that's all rendering, it's using both processors. Then on top of that, if you're using x264, the last process of encoding brings another load on top of your CPU. So after those 2 things, the gaming and the rendering, whatever's left over on your CPU is being thrown into the encoder, and hopefully you've got enough headroom. If you do, you're fine, but you've got to have a pretty nice CPU to do all that. Let me actually just prove that to you real quick. Like looking at this screen right here, I just want to show you how much processing power is going towards either. So I'm not running any games. So you can see right now I've got all my graphs up here. I'm going to show you the important ones. This is the CPU usage, in the GPU usage, okay? And right now we're sitting at like 4 or 5%, sometimes getting down to 0 in CPU. I'm not running anything. Let's just load up OBS. You can see right off the bat, GPU goes up to 28%, CPU is going up to 9%. And if we had things like alerts going on or drop some stinger transitions, that's gonna jump even higher. In fact, let's do it. Stinger transition jumped up to 14%, bring the stinger transition back in again. Again, jump up to 12%, GPU's up at 32%. And by the way, this isn't even streaming right now. This is just running OBS, compiling all the different sources, which I've got a pretty simple stream going on right here. You can see that we go from literally nothing to about 30% on average on GPU, and we went from nothing to about 13% in CPU. Now, on top of that, if we were to start streaming using X264, using the encoder preset of medium for top-notch quality and a bitrate of 6000. Watch what happens when I start encoding on top of that. Using X264, using the encoder preset